organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV.
We want the administration to know that we value it and we're not going to go down.
A lack of funding is threatening one University of Iowa center's resources. Later we'll tell you how far petitioners need to go in order to save it.
And we'll have new developments regarding the sexual harassment allegations against a former UI employee.
And in sports, men's hoops making headlines on and off the court. Find out who will be joining the Black and Gold in 2013 coming up.
That's all coming your way next.
Daily Iowan TV starts now.
I'm Tom Brokaw. For more than 100 years now, the University of Iowa community has been waking up to the Daily Iowan. Today, it's the largest newsroom in eastern Iowa. And now you can see the news every night on Daily Iowan TV and get it anytime worldwide at dailyiowan.com.
Thanks for tuning into your Wednesday edition of Daily Iowan TV. I'm Ian Martin.
And I'm Whitney Blakemore.
Records released Wednesday have revealed more information regarding the UI Athletic Department advisor who resigned last week. Peter Gray was dismissed from a previous job at Coastal Carolina University in 1999. The records from the university say Gray was dismissed for, quote, unsatisfactory working results, and his employment was not in the best interest of the institution, end quote. A report from the Iowa City Press-Citizen said Gray allegedly violated the UI's sexual harassment policy on numerous occasions.
And the UI Senator for Human Rights is fighting to stay alive. The center will close on June 30th unless students show that they want to keep it open. A petition has already received more than 2,000 signatures to keep the center open. The UI has attributed the closure to budgeting issues. The center's supporters believe the resource is vital to students and everyone in the community.
Now, human rights, they're for everybody. They're not just for doctors or lawyers, or engineers or teachers. Human rights are for everybody.
The center is a vital part of the community, of the university, and that we want the administration to know that, and we're not going to go down without a fight.
If you would like to sign the petition, you can visit www.change.org. Then click on the University of Iowa page. You can also visit them on Facebook. Just search UI Center for Human Rights.
Another organization trying to secure funding for the future is the University of Iowa Interfaith Group. The organization is trying to get Iowa City residents to help ensure government funding for food stamps. If you were walking by the old brick church on Wednesday, you may have seen them handing out information about their cause. They are encouraging students to write to Iowa senators about the importance of food stamps. Right now, more than 8,000 people in Johnson County receive the stamps, and the group says that funding for the stamps is not yet threatened, but may be a problem in the future.
Booming revenue from the University of Iowa's international program promises a bright future. Last year, international students and the scholars at the UI contributed more than $101 million toward the state of Iowa's economy. UI's program is smaller than other schools like Iowa State, but the UI program brings a significantly greater amount of money. This past fall, international enrollment had the highest numbers yet. The data show these students contributed a little over $20 billion to the U.S. economy as a whole.
Still to come on Daily Iowan TV.
And find out what city ordinance may be negatively affecting various parts of the city.
And in sports, another presentation of the Daily Iowan TV Sports Weekly Series, Beyond the Locker Room. But first, let's go check with Jacob Esser for a look at this week's weather. Jacob?
Thanks, Whitney. Well, tomorrow morning we'll start off in the low 40s with partly cloudy skies. As we head into the afternoon, the clouds will still stick around and the temp will rise to around 52, but our thermometers won't be hitting the 50s for long as we end the day back down to around 45 degrees. As we take a look into our extended forecast, expect to see about the same weather throughout this and the beginning of next week. Highs will be in the low to mid 50s with mostly partly cloudy skies. Now we may feel the warmth from the sun on Friday with clear skies, but that feeling won't last for long as we can expect a 40% chance of rain on Monday and fog to follow through to Tuesday. That's all I have for weather here. Back to you guys at the desk.
The current zoning ordinance in Iowa City states no bar can be open within 500 feet of another operating bar. And although Ped Mall bars are exempt, many community members think this ordinance should be modified to help city growth. Stefan Giron takes a look into how this rule may not be as beneficial as past officials once thought.
If you are new to Iowa City, you might have noticed the large amounts of bar activity that takes place in and around the Ped Mall. In 2009, the city adopted an ordinance which stops any bars from being within 500 feet of each other. Although all of the bars located within the Ped Mall before 2009 were grandfathered into this ordinance, many city officials and business owners are wondering if this ordinance may stunt the growth of other districts around Iowa City.
I think the council's received some feedback from potential business owners that say, hey, I'd like to go out here and open up a restaurant, but I'd like to stay open past midnight. I can't under your ordinance. Would you consider revising it? And that's what's led to.
Iowa City has long endured a reputation for being a party town, and rates of alcohol-related crime have remained relatively high when compared to other campuses. The City Council originally passed the restrictions to limit the number of bars in the downtown area. The council defines a bar as any establishment that sells alcohol and is open between midnight and 2 a.m. The restrictions are intended to promote diversity so that the area has more than just bars.
Office, you have people living there, you have rental units and units that are owner occupied. That mix, that diversity is what makes downtowns really successful.
For many community members, these restrictions do make sense for the downtown area, but many are hoping that the council will revise the plan to allow further growth in other parts of the city. Stefan Duran, Daily Iowan TV.
The City Council met last night to discuss this ordinance and whether voting against it would be beneficial for Iowa City.
One thing that won't be changing is the Republican control of the Iowa House. Wednesday, the House Republicans announced that there will only be one new face for the upcoming legislative session. State Representative Chris Hagenow has replaced Representative Eric Helland as the new major whip. Helland, who lost earlier this year in the GOP primary. Republicans have held a 60-40 majority in the House for the past 2 years.
And now let's take a look at what's going on outside of Iowa City. President Obama is now saying that there is no evidence that former CIA Director David Petraeus breached national security. Petraeus resigned last Friday after an investigation exposed sexually explicit emails he exchanged with his biographer. This scandal came just a few weeks after the Obama administration declared the attacks in Benghazi as terrorism.
One woman's death has heated up the debate about legalizing abortion in Ireland. The woman was 17 weeks pregnant when the hospital refused to give her an abortion. She later died of blood poisoning. Officials are still investigating her death.
Another controversial topic in Europe is sparking demonstrations in several capitals. Hundreds of thousands of Europeans went on strike Wednesday to protest the ongoing financial crisis. The riots closed some schools, canceled airplane flights, and stopped trains from running. Italy and Spain are just two of the countries where demonstrations turned violent. Whitney, it's been tough economic times in America, but there's a lot of stuff going on around the world as well.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And now for your Hawkeye Sports update. Let's go to Kate Constable.
Hello and welcome back to the Daily Iowan TV Sports Studio. Monday night, the Hawkeye Hoops team was busy turning up the volume in Carver Hawkeye Arena, brushing aside Central Michigan 73-61. This morning, it was head coach Fran McCaffrey making noise, announcing the second member of next year's already highly anticipated 2013 recruiting class. Peter Jock, who started at West Des Moines Valley for the past 2 seasons, signed a national letter of intent to join the program. McCaffrey, who's recruiting savvy, has impressed in his short time in Iowa City, spoke about Jock this morning saying, quote, he's an excellent athlete who can play 4 different positions and is a terrific three-point shooter. Peter is exactly what we're looking for in this class, end quote. This 6'6", 200-pound point guard born in Sudan joins the incoming Wisconsin transfer Jared Utoff for an already stellar 2013 class. And for the past 2 weeks, it's been our pleasure at Daily Iowan TV Sports to present to you our new Beyond the Locker Room series, and today's show is no different. One of the minds behind the series has been Muriel Kone, who has tonight's feature. Muriel?
My brother ran track when I was really young, when I was like 2 or 3, my dad just told me that I was going to run track. So I really didn't have a choice to do it.
It was almost impossible with injury after injury.
I mean, injuries are part of everybody. You know, it's like you just got to deal with it, go on. At the moment, it was really tough for me, but made me stronger, made me a stronger person.
Born and raised in Des Moines, Iowa, Van Cleve attended Hoover High School and got into swimming to keep his mind off of track.
My roommate Rodney, we both swam. Toughest thing it's really tough sport. It gets you mentally stronger.
Van Cleve continued his track career right here in the Hawkeye State, where he felt very much at home.
Teammates are awesome. They're all competitive, so we all help each other out. We're all trying to be the best, and we're just really supportive during practice. You hear everybody cheering for you, and then they're just great people in general. Coach Woody is the man. Coach Woody knows what he's doing. He can take just an average athlete with just hard work, just wants to work hard, and turn them into something great. And plenty of examples on the team for that.
With one completed school year under his belt, Van Cleve hopes to someday achieve the highest level. Muriel Kone, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
Thanks, Muriel. It's that time of year again in the mat room last week, and now on set with Daily Iowan Wrestling beat reporter Sam Lawaji tonight. And Sam, the Hawks kick off their season this weekend with three duels down in Tennessee. How have they kind of been preparing for this with preseason stuff, and then also what can we expect the outcome to be?
Well, in the preseason, they just held their wrestle-offs last weekend, and that's what they use to sort of determine who wrestles at what weight in the lineup. There has been some competition kind of in the wrestling room, and wrestle-offs are what they use to basically determine winners at each weight class. So now that they've done that, they have their lineup ready moving forward, and they can kind of get the season started. This weekend, there's 3 dual meets, and fans can expect 3 pretty comfortable Iowa victories. None of these teams should really challenge too much in the team score. Against Virginia, which is the second duel they'll be wrestling, there will be some interesting individual matchups. Virginia is a top 20 ranked team, but fans don't really have anything to sweat until later in the season in terms of a team match.
And other than the already well-known Matt McDonough, who will be fun to watch this year?
Yeah, well, McDonough is a 2-time returning NCAA champion, but there are a few guys who have a chance to join him on the top of the podium this year. One of those would be Tony Ramos, who finished 3rd at 133 pounds last year. He's improved a lot throughout his 2 seasons on the team, and you know, he has a real chance to kind of take a step up this year. And also, Derek St. John was a finalist last year, and the person who beat him in the finals moved up a weight class. So he enters the season as the #1 ranked wrestler at 157, and so he also, you know, needless to say, has a good chance to win.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us tonight, Sam. That's all we have for sports. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Kate. And only with Daily Iowan TV can you get a sneak peek at Thursday's pages of the Daily Iowan. Read about why former athletics department official Peter Gray was fired from his previous university's job.
And inside a taxi cab. Read about what 2 Iowa City locals did to start their own taxi business.
That's your latest edition of Daily Iowan TV, but be sure to check us out at the same time tomorrow or at any time at dailyiowan.com.
Thanks for watching and have a great night.